We just participated in the Steam Next Fest with our game, Forge Industry, our own resource management and automation game. Yeah, link down below, of course. And we wanted to share our insights about how we experienced Next Fest, what it did to our numbers, things like that. So if you are interested in this, be sure to stick around as we will be going over numbers and our experiences.
So for the uninitiated, what exactly is Steam Next Fest again? Well, Steam Next Fest is, as you know, Steam is one of the biggest platforms where you can buy games, and Next Fest is a celebration of upcoming games, is I think how they call it. What that means basically is every game that releases in the next 6 months, as far as I know, is eligible to submit a demo that everyone can play for free, and they're like all bundled together. And for about 1 week then, players can go and play as many demos of like games that they're interested in as they want, and just see like, is this game for me? Or maybe not, and then, you know, get the standard wish lists, and then once the game is released, hopefully you can convert those wish lists into actual sales. Now, why did we participate? Well, actually, we wanted to participate in the previous Next Fest, which was in, I think, February already.
Something planning sucks.
Yeah, indeed, our planning sucked, and we had no real like useful demo back then, so we had to cancel. However, we were always still interested in Next Fest, and then we saw that there was a new one coming up in end of June, and we were like, hey, we're gonna release shortly at the end of June or maybe early July. Let's join that one. And the main goal, of course, to join Next Fest as a developer is getting wish lists. That's the main one.
Publicity in general.
Publicity in general, indeed, because suddenly, you know, your game is more prominent on the store page. Because now if we go to like Next Fest, and then if we went to the strategy section and you scrolled a bit, you could actually see our game. Whereas, you know, if you have the standard like upcoming or like popular categories, those are much harder to get into, especially, yeah, because there you're competing with AAA games as well. Whereas Next Fest is truly made for indie developers.
Yeah, and we basically also went in with no expectations. So why did we do it? We basically needed anything. Our wishlist numbers were very, very low, and we hoped this would at least boost our, well, wishlist count a bit before our launch.
Yeah, we never really cared that much about marketing, because back when we were supposed to care about marketing, this was just a fun side project. And then once it became an actual like, oh, we should make money from this game, well, we're like a few months from launch. So Next Fest was the only like real opportunity we had there. And yeah, what did we expect? Well, we expected, I think I had the problem, I also never really engaged that much in Next Fest. Only one person on our team, William, who's really into like the whole Steam thing, knew what it was truly about. But I'm also like very pessimistic, I feel. I'm someone who doesn't really wishlist games. So for me, it's a very like weird thing to be like, oh, people wishlist your game, people play your game and like it, whatever. We're gonna join Next Fest and we'll see what we get. That was basically our approach. Maybe not the best, but still, hey, I think it worked out somewhat.
Yeah, and something that's pretty cool here is, especially for the kind of game we are making, is when we showed it on Gameforce, people played it, they loved it, and they either made a pre-order, wishlist it, or whatever. And this is another opportunity where, when you don't have a really visual game like ours, people can actually experience the gameplay before they actually have to buy it, and this can greatly boost your wishlist numbers. Because so far, from the numbers we see, people really like the game. It's just, it's not sexy enough to be put on like a Twitter or something to go viral, because yeah, we don't have the looks.
Now, I think Next Fest consists of multiple stages, and there's like a whole bunch of deadlines that we had to follow along. And I think the main first deadline we had was in, I think, May 8th or something like that, which was for the press launch. I think you were following that one a bit more. Can you maybe explain what the whole point of that one is?
Yeah, from what I understand, it's basically you have a launch earlier for the press, so they can already play the game, make articles about it, things like that. And we did apply, at least I think. I'm not entirely sure how the process goes. Anyway, we didn't, well, get like featured or anything, but this is probably our fault because, like I said, the game isn't really sexy, so why would this Valve show Forge Industry, this game where it's pretty static between like a shooter or like a top-down game, which has a lot of action, which is a lot more visually attractive.
Yeah, and indeed, so you have the press, and then also like Valve made their own like Steam Next Fest trailer, and you had to have released your game, like submitted a build at least, the 8th of May to like be eligible to be part of the trailer. Things that are important there is what we feel as well is you need to have like good graphics really, because you know it's gonna be used in trailers. They don't want to show some like very ugly game really.
Yeah, or at least if you go ugly, make it uniquely ugly,
Yeah.
So you stand out in some way, not just bad art.
But I think that it was good for us though, because that deadline was like our first, we need to have a build ready that was playable and demoable a month earlier basically. So we had like a bit more pressure of, we need to actually deliver something good. Now, another reason maybe why we didn't get selected is since the 8th of May until the actual start of the Next Fest is like 5-6 weeks. Our game went through a complete transformation almost in how it looks, certain features that were added, usability, things like that. So in general, it was still a good point, I feel, to apply at least, because hey, you can't lose anything from just applying.
Yeah, the downside with a game like ours, Forge Industry, is you make a lot of mechanics, but there isn't a whole lot of content, so to say, you have to make. While if you make, for example, a platformer, you can very easily make 3 levels, put that in a demo, and just focus then on making the other 25 or whatever. But here it's like, you're basically in a sandbox environment, so...
Everything had to be done.
Yeah, everything had to be done, basically.
So we didn't get selected, but anyway, Steam Next Fest finally rolls around. I think June 19th was when it started. And yeah, I think can you give us what was your, when you first saw those first day wishlist numbers come in, what was your impression?
I didn't really have expectations because, well, this is the first time we participated, but I actually really liked it. It was pretty positive. We got a whole bunch of wish lists. I think we have 1,500, 2,000, something like that.
Yeah, so
wish lists during next
the first day, I think there's a very clear graph. So the first day we got, I think, 250, and then the 2 days after it raised a bit. Now that may be because we also got featured on some YouTube videos. And then as we were approaching the end of Next Fest, the curve started slowing down and we went to more 200 and I think 100 wish lists a day. But still in total we got around 1,500 wish lists, I think maybe a little bit more, from just that 1 week really of Steam Next Fest, which is pretty substantial because if you take a conversion rate of 10%, that's still 150 people who may want to buy your game.
Yeah, and I think we had a little over 3,000 demo downloads. So this also shows us that the people that do play it are pretty happy with it to at least wishlist it, which is also a great motivation boost. And
then one thing that also was really good for Next Fest, as we've covered it in previous videos, we never one of our personal mistakes that we always make at our games, we didn't play test it enough. Suddenly you had 3,000 people basically playing the game. And whilst our game was pretty solid at that point, we did spend a lot of time fixing all of the bugs that were very obvious. Certain very edge case bugs did start appearing, so we still had time to squash those before the actual full launch of our game.
Yeah, and also if you plan on doing a Steam Next Fest demo, don't be afraid to update your demo while Steam Next Fest is live. This is also something that we done, because when you see these bugs, try to be quick and nimble, so basically people that play the next day won't have these and you leave a better impression.
Yeah, I think we basically almost every day pushed an update where we were fixing the bugs of the previous day, but also just it shows your players that you do actually care about your game. Now, there is one other aspect to Steam Next Fest, so you have the demos, and then they push this other thing as well, which especially if you went on the Steam you would have noticed, is you can live stream as your developer and then you get extra visibility basically. So there is a huge schedule of all the streams that are scheduled once you open the main Steam Next Fest page. And of course we had to join in on that one as well, because again, no expectation, but it's we just had to stream our game for an hour where we just played it, and I got Thomas and then William, another developer, hopped in on a voice call and just talked about the game whilst I was playing it and just talking about certain aspects, how did things work. And we got around 300 concurrent viewers, but I think what surprised me there is, okay, we had 300 viewers, but I feel like there was something wrong because we barely had any chat interaction. That's what, my spidey sense was a bit weird. I don't know fully how it works, but we didn't get that much interaction. And to be honest, that was also, I think, the day we live streamed got us the least wish lists of all of Next Fest. So I don't know how useful it is. There were, I think the highest the stream was that we saw was 6,000 views, but then it dropped off really quickly and there were plenty of games with 3 views. So I think, there's nothing wrong with just streaming the game, but don't expect too much from it, I feel.
Yeah, it's worth a shot at least.
So in general, what do we think of Next Fest? I think it almost saved our game in a certain way, because our wish lists weren't doing too hot, and yeah, 1,500 wish lists in total, that does really help a lot with getting your game up to speed, getting it more popular, because I think there's like, there's this whole concept of like 7,000 to 10,000 wish lists you need to have before launch when you get put in. There's the whole Steam meta. I don't fully understand it yet. We're recording this before our launch, but like between our next fest and launch is when we're recording this, so I don't really know how the influence will be on our launch yet. Maybe we'll make an update to that one as well. But I think in general, if you're a developer and you're certain that you're going to be able to release your game in the next 6 months, apply to Next Fest. As far as I know, there's 3 Next Fest every year, basically spaced 4 months apart. So there was one in February, there is now one in June, and there will be another one in October 2023. So if your game is going to come out soon, there's no reason not to make a demo for it, really. And that's, I think, just our experience with Next Fest. Let us know if you have any specific questions about Next Fest that maybe we didn't cover, but you're wondering about. We'll be sure to respond to them down in the comments as well.
Or if you have any experience with Next Fest yourself and they vary from ours.
Yeah, maybe you got like no wish lists or 10,000 wish lists and we did something wrong. Let us know down below. Apart from that, if you're new here, we are a game development studio who are releasing our own game Forge Industry, or maybe released by the time this video airs. And we also just make videos in general about behind the scenes of how we make our games, and also talk about like game design topics, game dev topics, things like that. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to go ahead and subscribe as well, and maybe give us a like, as it really helps us out and you get this cool content twice a week. That's all we really have to say for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.